Welcome to Fast Frontiers. I'm your host, Tim Schigel, managing partner of Refinery Ventures. In this episode, we're talking with Bernadette Butler, co-founder and CEO of Storytap in Vancouver, Canada. Storytap's a video platform that helps brands give their customers a voice by sharing video stories to increase brand engagement, conversions, and retention. In this episode, we're going to dive into Bernadette's background in advertising and marketing and seeing huge budgets and time dedicated to video production and how she came up with this idea of Storytap as a better solution. The biggest theme, or so what, that I hope you can take away from this conversation is the power of tapping into the knowledge of your customers and understanding your customers. Please enjoy this conversation with Bernadette Butler. Bernadette, welcome to Fast Frontiers. It's so exciting to have you on. I just can't contain my excitement. Can it be contained online? I don't know.
I am so excited to be here. No,
hopefully this medium's not too limiting for all the energy you're going to bring.
Exactly. Let's do it.
All right. Co-founder and CEO of Storytap, a Refinery Ventures Fund 2, the first Refinery Ventures Fund 2 investment in Vancouver. We're in Cincinnati. How did we find out about you? Well, let me tell you. It was an introduction by Michelle McBain of Stand Up Ventures in Toronto, who's also an investor in Teal Book with us. And she kindly made the introduction. And Storytap was a perfect fit for where we like to invest. And you and your co-founder, Sean Brax, did an excellent job getting the company to where it is at the time when we invested by heavily bootstrapping, not raising much money. So we'll get into all of that. But first, would love to just dive a little bit more into the origin story and not only how you came up with Storytap, but kind of your career path and what led you to that moment, if you would.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I would love to. So, earliest memories, I always wanted to go into advertising. I wanted to make ads that made people laugh. I wanted to do video storytelling, earliest memories. So I just had laser vision all the way up, marketing, advertising, landed first in an ad agency, B2B, and then moved over to B2C. And it was all about videos that made people laugh, videos that gave the agency clout and won us awards. And then once you've done that, you move over to client side. Some people do. And that was the first time client side. So that was where I worked for a massive telco, and I had this awesome opportunity where I got to run all the advertising and marketing for this value brand. And within this massive, think it wasn't Sprint, but think that kind of size in Canada. And I was like, I had an incredible budget, like $3 to $6 million per quarter minimum to do what I needed to do. But these ads had to work. They didn't have to be funny. There was nothing about, I don't care about the agency's awards for the first time. It's like they had to drive sales. They had to do, fundamental movements with this brand.
And were these all broadcast, or were they also repurposed online?
Oh, yeah. So I was responsible for the whole kit and caboodle, from the IVR, the call center, all the way through to the national advertising. So every aspect, every touch point of the brand came here. And how did we build it up and shift it? And how did it was really it was a youth brand at the time I started. So we were producing videos like crazy, 150, 300,000 per video. And you'd run it on a cinema maybe for, 10 weeks, or a TV spot 13 weeks. And then you'd have one social post that live on YouTube, and that's it. I thought, there's got to be a better way. We are spending so much money, and if you don't get it right, it's a big gamble. You just burn through, the height. I think I did 15 in a calendar year, which is a lot to do high production. And it takes, 10 weeks to pull them off minimum. If I was under the pump, I would have to pull one off in 7 weeks, and then I'd gain 15 pounds. I'm a shamble. It's a lot of work to do that. And they had to be incredible, of course. And I just thought there was a better way to do it. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be incredible if our customers could do videos for us? And, so I put some of the spend behind that, and incentivized, and out it went. And, I was a little cheeky internally with this is going to be incredible. And it was a big failure. I got 3 videos, unusable, not there were people lying on their beds talking and rambling. Nothing I could even chop up and use. It was just a total failure. And my personality is never give up. So I thought, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to spend more money. I know what's wrong. I changed the incentive. I gave more direction. I tried to, tested it with a small group. I thought, okay, I've got it. And it was another failure. And so I just stopped after that and went back to like calling the agency. I got 3 ads I got to make and you've got no time and it must be hilarious and sell more stuff. So after I left, I had this hypothesis. I'm like, wouldn't it be incredible if there was a way that I could actually nail this and have big brands collect incredible stories from their customers? And the origin of Storytap intersected with my personal life. And that was, I had a grandmother who was turning 80. And I thought, ooh, her life story. Like, I want to capture her life story. And then, so I started doing family members, got all this film equipment and started, how do I extract the best story from somebody in a watchable way that was meaningful, something that I wanted to watch. So I, being a marketer, I love storytelling. Like, what is that story? Because, somebody can talk for days, months. How do you get it in a succinct way? So that was actually the origin of Storytap, was life stories. Our MVP was all about having average people grab their cell phone, tablet, desktop, and share a life story. I think we were way too early for that in the end. But what I love about our origin is starting there, working with elderly people, folks in their 80s with technology. Our software had to feel not like tech. It had to feel so not technical. And I think that is part of the genius of what we have today at Storytap, is that the end user experience, it doesn't feel technical. It feels like they're FaceTiming their family. So, but yet the story we capture is on point and varied and incredible for marketers.
So where did you meet Sean Brax, your co-founder?
Good question. So when I started, I was super excited and mapped this all out, and I'm doing wireframes and writing and spreadsheets. I actually met an early angel investor who wanted to invest in us. So then I had a bunch of money. I thought, I get to build this thing. This is exciting. And in my journey in Vancouver, I had several people say, you should think about, co-founder. This is going to be a big thing that you're building. Like, you should really think about a co-founder. And I was like, slow your roll. You don't know. I can do this. But I talked to enough people and started actually meeting with female CEOs. And they're like, you should really think about a co-founder. It is like, 1 + 1 does equal 2. Think about that. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting. And on that journey, people said, there's this guy, Sean Brax, and he does a bunch of stuff, but you should just meet with him. So I actually hired Sean originally to do UX of the first MVP. And I had this incredible developer. And Sean then came to me and said, I'm a self-taught, full stack developer. I could probably take this on. And I was like, this is interesting. Are you? And we worked so well together. And so he met with our then dev and they had a technical discussion. And I just sat there listening and being overwhelmed by their technical discussion. And then that gentleman said, he's good. This is awesome. And then that was it. And Sean and I, we just worked incredibly well together. And it was, I think, maybe 4 weeks in, I said, do you want to be the co-founder? He's like, yes. And that was it.
That's awesome.
The rest is history.
He does a great job. And the product is terrific. And like you said, it's the key is to be invisible. That the technology is basically invisible. So just to explain to people a little bit more what Storytap is, but then also let's pull back and talk about kind of the big trends that it's, capturing.
Yeah. Storytap today, we've come a long way, from that early idea of capturing story. And I'd still say the keystone of Storytap is incredible stories from average people. And our tech democratizes that ability at scale. What we do today is we really are transforming brands who currently have websites that are text-based, text reviews, text FAQ, really like 1999, 2004 technology. And we upgrade them, so to speak, with data-driven video. And so that takes the form of video reviews, video FAQs. Those are the thing. But what propels that is the data and what stories are selling more and by which and how they're organized. And we organize them as they come to life on these websites in a very personalized way. So to go back to talk a little bit about trends, video was always kind of hot when we started. COVID, it started exploding. Zoom, as we all know, everybody's on Zoom. Everything started to transform. Remote was hot, obviously. And, for us, it was just, we were so early and doubled down on patents and doubled down on the failures and then the learnings from those failures of how do you actually capture these stories at scale in high volume and have them not have to be edited. And that's a big part of it. You don't want to have to edit every video. It has to be ready and it has to work. It actually has to produce high conversions, lower call center volume. It has to do its job. And that's where we focus all of our development. And now we're into integrations, integrating with TikTok. And again, it's about the data on TikTok, integrating with Salesforce, with Instagram. So it's kind of this, as a marketers or anybody in the e-com, any shade of marketer today, and they take so many different shapes and sizes in a massive organization, they're time starved. They constantly, their team gets reduced. They have to do more. Their list is massive. It's completely overwhelming. And so when we started with Storytap, it was always a bit of a North Star that would it be incredible if we removed several things on their marketing tech stack and it became Storytap, because it can be an all-in-one video, although let's call it 30 megs per file. It's a lot bigger than text. It is so much more compelling and tells and shares and convinces more. So they can do a lot more with less.
There's a rumor going around that text is dead. I don't know if you heard that.
There is a rumor going around that text is dead. It is dead. Nobody's reading. Everyone's watching. No one's reading websites.
And so when I tell people about it, one of the other questions they say is, yeah, but I wouldn't upload a video, talking about my experience with the product.
I love hearing that.
Oh, why do you love hearing that?
Because I see the videos. I mean, a lot of marketers are like, I wouldn't do that because as a marketer of any shape, you're like, you have lived in the world of perfection. Mm-hmm. And when we introduce data-driven video, there's this interest of like, what does that mean? It's like, imagine a world where you have the data behind the video. Imagine a world where like your business is growing, powered by your customers and your staff on video that you love. Like that has never been done.
So one may be thinking, oh, so you mean influencers, right?
No, these are just real people. Yeah, not influencers. And influencers, they have a place. I just don't think they're not the king of the castle. And they can't be. They're not scalable. They're expensive. They're slow and occasionally dangerous for a brand. There's some brand safety concerns. Now, you could say the same thing with real people. You could say, you want my customers to go on video? Talk about brand safety. But again, with the right software like Storytap, that's a huge focus for us. We built tech around that. Like that's part of what you get is that incredible brand safety at velocity.
Hey, we love this idea of video. We want to get real people videos talking about our product. We want to put this on our brand pages, et cetera. Then your head starts to hurt, right? With all the complexity and what's involved. This is not just putting text comment section on a website, right? So what's involved?
That's an awesome part. And I think, gosh, I just have the right co-founder who's passionate about product UX, but just can do all of the other stuff. And we've got this incredible dev team that sits below him. And it was always important to him that it was 10 minutes. It's not big. It is. And then we have people say, oh, come on, that's BS. Like 10 minutes. It is copy and paste on your master. And we go deep by SKU. Like these aren't just testimonials. We go deep, deep, deep. And it is as simple as that. It is, I mean, maybe half an hour if you're talking about, current affairs. I don't know, but it's not very long.
So literally within minutes or hours, a brand could have consumer videos that consumers generated, raised their hand and did on their own within hours.
Minutes, yes.
Submitted, and then the brand could repurpose them on their page or on their YouTube channel, what have you, and the user can also publish them on
That's it.
TikTok or somewhere else.
We're all about the virality of it. So the ownership is the brand, which is paramount, that the brand owns these assets. And that's where it comes to doing more with less. It's, we've got YouTube integrations, video SEO comes with it. And then when you think about your social calendar, how incredible to have a plethora of video that from the data are working for you. These are your assets. It's not a guesswork. Like when I started out, every video I produce, it's a guess. It's a giant leap of faith of, I hope this works. And when it doesn't, there's hell to pay because you spent so much money on it. This is totally shifting that. And you actually see in the dashboard, here are our top performing videos by this ICP. Not only that, it tells you, your site visitors need more Gen Z men showcasing the product or unboxing or talking about how heavy or how complex it is to put together. That's the kind of stuff that we get into.
That's what I love about the video is, so many times, it's my wife's big into reading reviews. And anytime we go somewhere, whatever it is, she's got to read the reviews. And of course, she wants to go find the negative reviews and they say that that's helpful, but she'll read to me what they say. I'm like, you don't know what their experience is. You don't know that they stay at the same type of hotels you do normally, et cetera, et cetera. This video seems to break down that barrier because you can, especially if you match with somebody who kind of looks like you, talks like you, whatever.
Like we've been living with text reviews for so long and they are garbage. And I know that's a strong word, but I'll say it is wild thinking where we are today in the world we are today, that brands are still spending so much money on text. They hire an army of people to then monitor the crap that comes through to remove swear words and sentiment and all the scary things that come through from anonymous people smashing away on their keyboard. When you think through video, when you see these people, we've had obviously many negative reviews come through for our customers, but they're not awful. They're articulate and like they, the brand has a dialogue. People their faces on there, like they're not bad.
They have to own it. They have to own it.
It's just like,
it seems like when you give them text and they can have anonymous profiles, it's like giving your customers guns and knives.
Well, and a lot of it's fake. It's just BS. There's a whole other most text review companies, they introduce you, they sell, they're like, don't worry, we've got a community of people that are going to kick off your text reviews. As a consumer, you should not like that because that means they have 100,000 people. When you ship them your high heel product or whatever it is, you've got men in their 20s reviewing high heels under an anonymous name. That is garbage. We've all bought stuff and we read the reviews that were great. And what shows up, you're like, man, I got to return this. This sucks. And we can just do better. Like this video does it better. You can see it. You can find with every purchase decision, in the end of the day, we're in the confidence game. Whether it's your video FAQ, you're trying to ask a question and get a video answer about something, or you're looking at other people that are relevant to you with stories that are relevant, but it's about confidence. What do you need to understand and to know about this product or service that's going to make it a comfortable buying decision online? And that's the delta.
That's what's amazing. I mean, when we met and I thought about, how many products do I go on YouTube and I look it up and I try to see a review, see somebody using it, what have you. Everybody's doing it. Everybody you talk to says that's what they do, right? They do some research on YouTube. And the fact that brands don't have creating those or helping consumers create those or being part of it in some way to say, look, we have millions of customers. Let's encourage them to submit videos and let's have more videos that are helpful and useful. Just amazing to me.
And I love when we get on calls and we say that to our, prospective customers. We say, no, these are your real customers. They're like, what do you mean real? Like our influencers? I'm like, no, like the people, like you have,
people buy your stuff and they use it.
You haven't even tapped into your biggest resource. It's actually your customers and how incredible and how passionate. It's neat.
Yeah, some of the videos that you've shared are just hilarious, and people's creativity just boggles your mind. It's amazing, and you've worked with some brands and some products that are probably ones that would be the least expected to have people submitting a video review for.
Yes, I can tell you right now, I hid under my desk when we got KY and then Durex, and I was like, no, this is it. This is the end of the company. And
what are they going to submit?
I was terrible. I'm like, the entire company's going to have post-traumatic stress disorder. This is going in a direction that I was uncomfortable with. And I will tell you, I was really honest with our customer. And they kind of said to me, they're like, this is, stop it. Like, we're all big people here. Like, this is a really serious thing. Like, sex education and sex, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, okay. We're video. Do you know we're video? And it's incredible, the stories that come through across those brands and products by all different, ICPs, as you will. And you'd think it would be one category that people would be shy to talk about on video. And we have 20-year-old grandmothers, everything in between, husband and wives, you name it. And for the relevance is there for the audience that wants it. And that's what we're proud about. Which,
makes me think one of the macro trends that you're really tapping into is in this age of, the internet and social media and the focus on relationships, but actually the erosion of relationships, right? People are, they're led to believe they have all these relationships and they have all these followers, but we as humans, we crave relationship and
connection.
Stories are, and connection, and stories are one of the ways we do that, right? We identify with and relate to characters in a story, et cetera. And so the fact that you are tapping into that, that latent desire for people to say, hey, I want real stories with people like me that I can learn from, I think is a big piece of what's propelling you.
And it is the story. So like when you think of a text review, it's like you get what you get. They say that in kindergarten, you get what you get, you don't get upset. I have 2 kids. And I just think that's crap for any brand that is stuck with text reviews. Oh, look at all these variety, ew. But with video, it's like, let's get to the stories that are relevant. And there's so many. So our tech is really, we spend a lot of time figuring out variety of storytelling. So when you think of A/B testing in tech, think of that in storytelling. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You don't know what stories are going to sell more for you. You don't know if it's a barbecue, the fact that you don't have to put it together is going to sell more, or that it's so light, or that you don't have to lay the propane tank or whatever. Like, you don't know until the data tells you. And I think that's really eye-opening for a lot of customers that start working with us.
So tell our listeners who some of your customers are.
So we kind of plan it at several different verticals. Higher education, I'd say the most well-known would be UCLA. We do a lot of work with UCLA with their fully employed MBA program. There are many different programs, 5 or 6 different programs there. Retail in Canada, one of the biggest names, and maybe in America too, Canadian Tire. They, $12 billion company, they own Helly Hansen. So that usually people are surprised to hear that. We have Reckitt. So we have lots of all different types of consumer packaged goods. For a global perspective, we're with Danone. Danone, we have so many different brands in so many different countries, from Italy to Spain to France, Australia.
Wow. So international. So it's not constrained to North American culture or what have you.
And I love that on video, when you come to text, another reason I think this, we're such an incredible melting pot society. Only if you're really strong in text are you able to construct a sentence, or you feel comfortable enough typing something. With video, if English is not your first language, you grab that video. Overseas, any language, it comes down to, for us, culture and that story. So making sure that brand safety echoes the culture and that, but anybody can grab their phone and talk in any language and it's captured. So right away, that doubles the amount of content that can come in.
That is good point. I hadn't thought about that, actually. That makes actually removes friction. So what's it been like running a startup in Vancouver?
We were once in person. Now we're fully remote and really leaning in hard to how do you build great culture remote. And I think in our future, there's a hybrid model. I think you can only go so far and you've got to have that in-person connection. I think it's great. I think early days with us, super involved in the community at all of tech-based, co-working spaces and events. And since COVID, I think we've definitely kind of stepped out of that. We look more of it as a North American endeavor, really focused on where we have to go, still keeping some ties, but really being a lot more careful with our time and growing the business.
There's, I think, a lot of people moving out of places like California, and Vancouver is one of those places that I've heard is receiving a lot of folks. So, which is terrific.
A lot of developers up here. Yeah.
So what's on the horizon for Storytap?
On the horizon, so much is on the horizon for Storytap. I'd say the focus for Storytap, and we're super excited, syndication. So, when you're dealing with such high, like massive files, 30 megs, we've been investing a lot in our tech in syndication. And that's something that text does well because it's like not big at all, it's teeny tiny. So that's one of that just kind of amplifies our growth, et cetera. And then also PLG, so product-led growth. So we've been up market for a long time, and we're now swinging down and just kind of having that groundswell of offering a freemium product. We're starting with Shopify, really focusing on one of the hottest entry points of Storytap, which is our video FAQ. And a lot of brands go, oh, that's so easy. It just makes so much sense. And the plus of that isn't just awesome customer care. It is the video SEO side of it. It's like owning the question. And there's so many more upsides when you shift to video. So that would be our entry point. So so PLG on the bottom half and then syndication on the top half would be the two.
Yeah, I think there's huge opportunity there. I could see just thousands and thousands of merchants plugging into this and maybe even coming up with new use cases and being innovative themselves with how they could use your technology. Appreciate you being on Fast Frontiers, Bernadette.
This is awesome. I thank you for having me, Tim. I've been following along and so pumped when you asked me to join. This is awesome.
All right. Best of luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Join us next time when we bring you my conversation with Joseph Hanna, founder and CEO of Engage Talent, an AI-driven SaaS platform to empower talent acquisition, engagement, and retention. Engage was acquired by Workforce Logic in 2019, which was then acquired by Pro Unlimited in 2021. Thanks for listening to Fast Frontiers. If you like our show and want to know more, check out our website, fastfrontiers.com. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with others and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. The Fast Frontiers podcast is brought to you by Refinery Ventures. Our producer is Abby Fittis. Audio engineering by Astronomic Audio, and our podcast platform is Casted.